Okay, this is Safe Places for Money continued, and I'm going to be back here at the local banks, scrolling down to the end here, and I'm going to look at these: Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase. All of those are 0.01%, which again, 0.01% is about 10 cents on $1,000. So I just want you to be aware, again, of the rates that you're experiencing at your own bank. So over here, back on this chart, which I want to update, the savings at local banks is about 0.01 to 0.15%. So that's 10 cents to $1.50. Okay, I'm going to pop back in here again, and I'm just going to note that money market rates were on here too. So if we scroll down again, we're going to see money market rates for a lot of these banks. Again, when we arrive at Bank of America, which is down here a little bit, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, there's Union Bank. They're all going to be a little bit more, but generally they're 0.03 to 0.05%. So that's 30 cents to 50 cents on $1,000. Now I want to change this up a little bit. I want to scroll back here to the top, change my search, and I want to go to national banks. Let's see what's happening on the national market for money market and savings. What you can see here is they are significantly higher. In other words, if Bank of America is 0.10 and Barclays is 1%, that's 100% higher. So on $1,000 at Barclays, you're going to make $10 a year instead of 10 cents. So I don't know about you, but for me, I'd rather have $10 than 10 cents. And in fact, for me, I have this bank right here as my safe place for money, Ally Bank. And the reason is when I first started, all of these were at 0. So I selected this bank because I didn't want to have any cost requirements for opening it. I didn't want to have any fees, and I wanted a decent rate. And so I've had Ally for years. I use this as my, again, my emergency fund. So I have money that's in my checking that's extra. I transfer it electronically on my phone or on my computer to this bank. And then when I need that money, I do the same thing in reverse. So virtual banks are not in grocery stores or strip malls, but they are easily accessible by your phone. And I know some people will say, well, that's just not safe because it's on my phone. But even if you bank at Wells Fargo or Bank of America, those are just as safe because all of your information is still electronically transmitted. When you access your bank online or through your phone, it's no different than accessing this bank online through your phone. So I really want you to think about those. So I'm going to go back here to our sheet, and I'm going to put national banks are about 1% or $10. Okay, money market accounts, I'm just going to tell you they're on that same screen. So they're going to be from about 0.03 to maybe 0.25 at some of the credit unions. So that would be 30 cents to $2.50. More restrictive money market account, and yet still doesn't compare to national banks. Finally, we have CDs. Now remember CD, they're going to take your money and they're going to lock it up. And it's not going to be available for a certain period of time. So we're going to look at CD time periods of about 1 year. So I'm going to go back to the home here, the home page on this. I'm going to put in CD rates for a 1 year CD right here. 1 year. Go next. This is already local. Sacramento's right here. So I can scroll down here and let's see what, again, locking up your money for 1 year. What are the rates at your banks? Now you'd think they'd be higher because if I'm going to give my money to a bank for 1 year, that's more risk to me because that money's not available for a year. So I'm going to expect a higher rate of return. That's how this works. More risk, more reward. There's Golden One. Golden One's going to pay you 30 cents on $1,000 that they keep your money for 1 entire year. Next, you have U.S. Bank, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo. 50 cents, 50 cents here, 10 cents there. Or I'm sorry, $1 here, 10 cents at Chase. Okay, so not worth it. Not to mention we're in an environment where interest rates, the only direction they can go is up. So again, we don't want to lock our money up in any kind of CD, especially at these low rates, but also because interest rates are probably going to rise over the next year as our economy continues to improve. Back here, CD rates, again, not very good, 0.1 to about, actually 0.03 to about 0.1%. On the virtual banks, again, they're going to be higher. So if you went in here to your search, you changed it, you went up here to the top to change your search, and we went, oh, this is a little bit different. We want to go to national banks. Let's see. Well, here's some national banks up front. So maybe these are all on the same page. There's your national banks. Again, banks that are virtual, going to be paying, again, significantly more. But even this, I mean, for me personally, I'm not going to tie my money up in a CD for 1.22% in a rising rate environment. That's just not high enough for me. Okay, let's move on, and now let's talk about the government products. And with that, you're going to go to a different website. It's called treasurydirect.gov. I don't know if you can see this. There you go. So treasurydirect.gov is the website. And on here, if we go to the home, you know that we are going to be looking at products that include T-bills, EE savings bonds, and I savings bonds on this site. T-bills right here. What is a T-bill? Again, it's a short-term government security that you can only invest your money in a T-bill for a year or less. So if we go to T-bills right here and we look at the rates, these T-bills are sold at auctions, but actually you can buy one here online. Here are the current rates for T-bills. Let's look at a current rate for a, let's say, 26-week, half-year T-bill. Let's see what's going on here. I want tips. Okay, well, anyway, what I do know is they are going to be significantly lower than, I'm going to click on this for a minute. There we go, T-bills. Okay, they're going to be even lower. They're over here. This is an annual rate, so you don't get to set this amount for 4 weeks. You would take this amount and divide it by 12 to get the return for 4 weeks. But the big thing to notice about these is that they are not nearly as high as virtual banks, and yet you are still giving the government money and tying up your money for a certain period of time without the return that you would expect. Well, you would expect this is significantly less than, again, virtual banks, but also higher than your typical savings account. So it is an option. It comes with a bit more complications. You need to open up an account here. You need to invest in different time periods. And really at these rates, if you could go virtual bank, have access to your money at all times, these don't really make much sense. But you do need to know that they exist. Government product called T-bills. Go back to the home page. I'm going to direct your learning here to Series EE savings bonds. What I'd like you to do is take a look at what these savings bonds are. Again, they're investments that you can buy from the federal government. You can hold onto it for up to 30 years. It will earn interest, a fixed rate of interest depending on when you buy the bond. So if we go here and we look at current rates on Series EE savings bonds, if you were to purchase them today, if I scroll down here, the rate on those bonds would be 0.1%. 0.1. Okay, that's $1 on $1,000. Not very high. Now they have been higher in the past. If you look at 2008, they were at 1.3, but now they have dropped significantly to 0.1. And when you buy that, that rate is fixed for the life of that savings bond. Not a good option compared to our virtual banks. Finally, oops, I'm going to go back here. And I'm going to look at one more type of bond. Actually, I really want you to do this. I'm going to tell you where to go there. I'm going to go back home to treasurydirect.gov, and then you're going to look at I-bonds. I-bonds, the I standing for inflation. I-bond interest rate returns are made up of two components, a fixed rate of return and a variable rate of return. So I'm going to ask you in next week in a discussion post to talk about the differences between these two bonds and also look up the rate for an I-bond, which is on this page here. So you